Now, speaking of seeing shit, now listen, I'm not a drama starter here. I'm not. You know, DC, you know me. I'm a good guy. Yeah. But now, is it weird at all that your buddy Luke Rockhold is over in that other, they're training in the same room and maybe sweating together? I don't know if he's working together, but I know, I mean, listen, does he ever give you a call and say, look, this motherfucker, he's going for this uppercut? No, anything? Come on, you can be honest between me, just between me, you, and Jimmy, and all our listeners.
Yeah, we'll cut it out.
Here's my thing, Matty. You know, this guy, I got a lot of TV obligations between fights. Kane had been hurt. So, of us three, Khabib's in Russia a lot of times. So, Luke didn't have anyone. I really actually applaud him for making the move down there because it's bold. It's brave to get out of your comfort zone. Go and find a place that's a better situation for you for the time being. Would we love to have him home? Yes, we'd love to have him home. But he had to do what's best for him. Plus, people don't know Luke's situation personally in the Bay Area, but we do. So because I know everything about his life, I understand why he's in Florida. Seeing them together, it kind of sucks. You know, like seeing that they're doing their conditioning cardio together, that's fine. I mean, it sucks a bit, but it's nothing that's ever going to change Luke and I's relationship. But no, I would never put him in that situation because he's building a relationship with his coaches and his teammates over there. So, no, I would never want to put him in that kind of situation where it would cause dissension amongst him and his new teammates and friends. And also, you know, he's still got to come back to San Jose and train, too. You know, it's not like he's never going to train at AK. He's just working down there right now, which is great.
And what were your thoughts on Khabib had such an amazing win over Barboza? And now we're hearing the rumors now that apparently it was announced in Boston that he and Ferguson are fighting in Brooklyn, possibly in April.
Is that right?
That's what I've heard, yeah. So how are you feeling about that? And Khabib just looks unbeatable. No one's unbeatable, but he looks as unbeatable as you can look.
He's good, man. You know, watching those scores on that fight card, 30-25, 30-24, 30-25. Last time I've seen a scorecard like that was another guy from the American Kickboxing Academy. It was Kane beat Junior Dos Santos the second time, 50-43, 50-43, and 50-44 in a title fight. And to me, he's just Kane reincarnated. He's nasty, man. And people aren't even seeing the true finished product of Khabib Nurmagomedov. This dude is still developing. He's still developing at 29 years old. And look at how he just dominates these dudes. He made Edson Barbosa look like he was just in over his head and out of his league. And there's really no one to beat him at 155. Tony Ferguson's a stud. Tony Ferguson is an absolute stud. But if Kevin Lee can have, and no disrespect to Kevin Lee, because it's a different type of fight style, but Kevin Lee had a lot of success against Tony. Khabib would do that, and it would continue to roll. And if Chad Mendez can take Conor down and control him for almost 2 rounds, imagine being stuck under Khabib like that.
You know, Matt did make the same good point you just made about Ferguson and Kevin Lee and what Khabib would do if he could do that. So that. And by the way, I saw a fun interview you did with Khabib where he wanted to know the questions and you wouldn't tell him. I kind of like your integrity as an interviewer.
No. You can't give it to him. You can't give it to him. It has to be real.
Now, you guys are good together. I like your relationship. You're funny. I like it.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
You're a great color guy and a great announcer. Is there a point where, like, you know, you've been fighting for a long time and training is so brutal. Is there a point where you go, like, what am I doing? Like, I know you love to compete, but you're so good on the other side of it. Is there a point where you're like, hey, I know I got this nice gig, like Dominic Cruz. I got this great thing to kind of step into. You can wear a suit and fly first class and not get kicked. I mean, there's got to be tempting.
You know, I just have always known when I would be done with this, right? So I started when I was about to turn 31. And I knew I'd be done by 40. So if that's the case, I can work for another year.
Yeah,
I enjoy it. I love it. I can work for a year. That TV stuff's going to be there forever. So it is fun. Like right now, I would be here. I would be in Boston. But instead of working out or talking at Ultimate Media Day, I'd be on the other side with the microphone like, hey, can I get some stuff for UFC tonight? And also eating all day long. Right now, I'm sorry. But... you know, so yeah, it's tempting, but I love to compete. I've always had a goal in knowing that the end date was going to be 40 years old, and as I approach that, I know that I have a good hard year left in me.
Good, good. And what do you think, before we let you go, DC, the main event, a lot of people are talking about Stipe is the underdog against Ngannou. And again, you look at a guy like Ngannou, who I don't know how well he could take a couple of rounds of Stipe battering him, but we've all seen what he can do with one punch. And it reminds me of Anthony Johnson in kind of that way. But you prove that there is somebody who can take an Anthony Johnson punch. So what do you think about that, the main event?
It's a great fight. You know, I think we've kind of, because of all the power and the toughness that Francis has shown, people fall in love with that. People fall in love with that ability to finish a fight with a knockout, and it's so fun, and it's so exciting. But the reality is, you're looking at a guy, Stipe Miocic, that's done the same thing.
Yep.
He's knocked out 4 guys in a row himself, and all world champions. He knocked out Verdum to win the belt, knocked out Overeem to defend the belt, knocked out Jose Dos Santos to defend the belt, and also beat the brakes out of Mark Hunt in the process before, too. So both of these guys are very powerful guys. Look, I don't generally go and watch fights after my fight is done if I'm not fighting in the main event.
Right.
But I'm telling you, on this one, I'm definitely going. I'm telling Dana, save me a seat next to the octagon. I'm coming to sit right next to you so that I can watch these two dudes go to war.
When you fight a guy, who everyone, I mean, there is just something base and human about, like you just said, a guy who can knock you out, raw power. There is something people just love about that. When you're preparing for a guy like that, like you did against Anthony Johnson, what do you, and again, like you have to against a guy like Oezdemir, whose people are just talking about the raw punching power. I mean, that's not nearly as uncomfortable for you guys as it is for us watching. Your strategy has got to be just to, I guess, close the distance, keep up against the fence. I mean, what is exactly your idea of what Stipe would do to prevent that from landing on him?
You know, I actually think that the plan is to get close. Get close, clinch, but you got to change levels. You got to be on his legs, I believe, because Overeem was in the clinch with Francis, and Francis just moved him around like he had no ability getting him in there. So I don't know if you can just clinch Francis in an upper body situation and just hold him. You got to maybe get on his legs and start to try to trick him into getting lost. You got to trick him with takedown defense. You got to switch up your takedowns. Try to make him do things that has to register in his mind before he actually defends it. In the striking, he can do that. But in the clinch, 50-50, he's strong enough to hold you there.
Yeah.
But when you're playing on his legs, right, you're moving him around, holding his leg, snapping his head down, doing all this other stuff, he has to think, where do my hands go here to defend this? Because 4 years ago, Francis hadn't wrestled. He wanted to become a boxer. So he's got to really trick him into trying to get him onto the ground.
Yep. Okay. Thanks, DC. Listen, good luck. We love you. You're one of my favorite fighters and people in MMA. So I hope you. I'm pulling for you in this co-main event here against Volkan Oezdemir. And thanks for coming on. You're always so great with us.
All our best, champ.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
All right, buddy. Talk to you soon.
All right, DC.
Yep.
The champ.
How does anybody not like Cormier? I don't. There's people that don't like him. How does anybody not like that guy?
It's ridiculous. He's one of the best.
I think at the time people just liked Jones.
That's okay to pick Jones or like Jones.
I just think it was like Coca Pepsi type of thing. What?
Maybe.
Like no, I don't like these. Yeah, I like Jones. That's what they would be like.
I gotta say, it's a bit obnoxious to actually do this if you're in Boston. I mean, what in the world? I hate this place after yesterday. Actually, I'm kind of kidding. I'm just really, really jealous. Oh my God. Look at that. It's okay. I think I'm still happier with the one that we have. We don't need that many. So my first instinct was to hate, but I had some coffee. It's just early in the morning. Good for you, Boston. Good for you, Boston. Oh my goodness. All these championships. Huh? Championship City, that's what they call it. I don't hate you, Boston. I like you, Boston. But my goodness. Championship after championship. Congratulations.